At the foundation of every coherent object in nature is a shared principle of value. It is expressed through all forms of being, from the smallest of waves or particles to the most massive objects. This expression of value is the ability to nourish and defend coherency in the context of the environment. Coherence is the currency of being in nature. It is what defines that which exists from that which does not. Coherent objects are expressions of nature's fundamental drive. This drive, embedded in all objects, results from a requited search for coherency, at the same time is in search for an ever greater form. Like the circular eddies in a turbulent flow moving toward a mature state of equilibrium, each object that forms and dissipates along the developmental arc does so by this principal constant, the ability to express coherent form. Whatever has greater coherency value in the context of the local environmental womb is the engine of selection that forges the developmental arc, defining what exists at any given moment. The more suited a relationship property is over time to serve in the role of defining a membrane of coherency in a variable environmental context, the longer an object will exist over time. The continuous renegotiation of coherency that we experience as being is also true of all objects in nature. Stars and the atomic elements birthed by them become the structural consonants and vowels that give rise to even more sophisticated expressions of coherent form and function. The maintenance of existing states, along with the search for greater coherency, is our story. Coherency is the grammar on which all expressions of being are born. At the dawn of our awakening to what we now experience as conscious awareness, we already stood as a testament of nature's devotion to coherence. What we experience as consciousness is a symbolic recognition of what we already were before we developed a capacity to map our world. We are an embodied statement of nature's value proposition that is expressed through our biological form. We are an embodied expression of devotion to the necessities of being, both defined by and defining our environment. If this were not so, we would cease to be. From an internal perspective, we are a membrane of coherency pushing back against the forces of dissolution, the same way the outward force of nuclear fusion in a star pushes against the inward forces of gravity. From an external perspective, we are part of a greater whole, moving toward ever greater states of coherency. We are part of a grander narrative, a developmental story arcing through time toward maturity.